And I see we have Corey there in a car.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Corey.
Great, great. How y'all doing today?
We're doing really, really good, thank you.
Where everyone's calling in from. Let me 1 second, get this stable. Here we are, and we're diving in. So excited to get out there at the end of the month, guys. It's going to be before we know it. Crypto world is going great for you all that are watching. For you all that aren't, it's time to start. We had a nice 25% jump on Bitcoin from 4,000 to 5,000, holding strong. And we're going to talk about today how you can make some crypto. So just give me 1 second to share my screen, and then we will dive into this. We're good to start too, right?
Yep, we're good to start.
All right. I actually need you to let me share my screen. There, Roger.
Okay, 2 seconds. Okay.
All right. Can you see it?
Yep, we can.
All right, cool. So for you guys who do not know me, my name is Corey Chadwick, better known as Crypto Corey in the crypto space. I got a traditional background in finance, went to Oklahoma State, was a financial analyst for Bank of America, one of the top 4 financial institutions down here in the States for a year before getting approached with network marketing. Hit it out of the park real quick, just like, at Welch is now Cavera. When I joined, it was WG, but we have a $600 a month residual. Hit it in 2 days. Light bulb went off. Immediately started going hard at that thing. Hit 6 figures my first year network marketing, and pretty much quit my job and over a couple of different companies. I finally kind of got my bread and butter, if you will, and built an organization of 3.2 million people. 2.8 million were active whenever the company closed the doors. I was doing $340 million a month in sales volume, and so back in 2016, the currency for China was really taking a big hit. And so a lot of the high net worth individuals were shelling their money and hedging it, if you will, into Bitcoin, which is really that catalyst that got Bitcoin moving, from the hundreds of dollars to thousands of dollars. And so out of that $340 million, 98% of it was probably coming from China and it was coming in through Bitcoin. So I was making about $30,000 a month. I know it sounds pretty crazy on having such a large organization, but you guys know Line Maxes and had 2 maxed out legs, just one leg that, had the USA group and some other countries, but, internationally things just build way different than here in the States. And so never really got to that 7-figure income, even though I had over 100 people on my team, making over $90,000 a month. But that's just kind of the reason for that 30K number, which I kind of always joke about. It does sound crazy, but I was making 30 grand though in Bitcoin, which obviously was way more than 30 grand when it was all said and done, as I was taking in this asset and the asset was growing in the dollar value versus getting paid in the fiat, right? Like the British pound, the euro, or the USD, that has been inflating over the years and losing value. So that was a big light bulb moment for me already, just getting paid in something that is growing in value versus devaluing. But then I started seeing these other coins. So as I'm taking in Bitcoin and I started to hold it because I just don't need to sell it anymore. Because, I was 25 at the time, whatever, and just didn't have a lot of bills, no kids, no big family, all that. So Ethereum went from $7 to $10. And so kind of in my head, I was like, man, this is like buying Bitcoin at $10. Things moving. And so I threw $10,000 of the money coming in into Ethereum at $10, and I bought 1,000 of Ethereum. Well, about 4 weeks later, it's pretty choppy, not doing a whole lot, and then it just skyrockets to $40. Make $30,000 in my head was like one day, right? Because it all happened in one day. I took profit, and then of that $30,000 profit, I put $17,000 into XRP Ripple. And kind of how that happened is a buddy of mine told me about CoinMarketCap.com and this exchange called Coloninex, where you can buy these kind of penny stocks, if you will, of these cryptos that are in the pennies with Bitcoin. And so XRP Ripple, I do some research in it. it's kind of the coin for the banks. It's got a bigger supply, so when you do transactions, the margin of change is not as great when you're talking really large numbers of dollars in transactions. So it's made a whole lot of sense to me fundamentally, right? And so there's $17,000 of that of the profit into Ripple when it was like 0.007. It was under a penny, and I bought 1 million of these tokens. And so same kind of story, you know what I mean? A few weeks go by, maybe a full month, and I'm at church one day, literally in the service, and literally it just starts to go up like crazy. I mean, every time I was already kind of used to like looking at my balance on Blockfolio because it would have, increased here and there just because of that bullish momentum. But I mean, every single time I refreshed my Blockfolio, I was making like another $5,000. And we're talking like every minute. It was kind of insane. So Ripple goes from 1 penny to 7 cents, and I make 100 grand that day. And it was just that kind of euphoria moment. Didn't really know what was going on. I was infatuated with the amount of money that was coming in, so I did not take profit on that pump. And so it came back down to 3 or 4 cents, and this is when I started to really kind of understand the volatility, right? Really see these kind of pumps and dumps, if you will. And so a lot of people were saying Ripple was going to go to $1. I called my buddy. I was like, hey, man, what do you think about me going all in on this thing? And he's like, it'd be pretty crazy. Wasn't the word he used, but I know we got some women on the line. So anyways, he said that'd be pretty crazy, man. I said, I'm going to do it, And so I sell the rest of my coins, Stratus, some different ones like that. And I increased my position to 3 million coins. And so the reason for that is, if everyone said it was going to go to $1, now I'm like, man, if this thing could just go to 33 cents, I'll make my first $1 million. And sure enough, about a month later, it jumped up about 5 cents. My account's $1.45 million, so right under $1.5 million. And Bitcoin's price is still kind of in the early thousands, 11, 1,200 or so. And so when I end up selling all that into Bitcoin, I had 750 Bitcoin. So when 750 Bitcoin, when Bitcoin went to 20,000, really 19,500, it was about $15 million, right? So that's a big number coming off of, a $10,000 start, really, right? So just a few trades and then Bitcoin compounding against the dollar. And this is like really when the second light bulb went off. And that's that it's not about making more US dollars or British pounds or euros. It's actually about making more Bitcoin because Bitcoin's got an upward, trajectory, and it's going to keep going up. And so that's really when I decided, man, I don't really care about the US dollar anymore. I want to be full crypto. And since then, I really have been, 99.9% crypto portfolio. I don't keep a big USD position. I pay bills, anything extra. I buy something nice myself, or I throw it all in the coin and I trade it. And so I think if there's more people like me that adopt this way, then this is what's really going to bring mass adoption to the crypto space and really put all the banks out of business, right? If they can't keep leveraging our money and trading our money and giving us pennies on the dollar back in interest, then they're going to go out, right? If we stop using them for transactions and we start making transactions in Bitcoin and start accepting Bitcoin instead of wires, well, then they're not making any money on fees anymore, right? And so fees and interest is where they make their money. It's always been a crooked business for me. And so, I'm ready for the banks to see their day that the USA can't bail them out. Back in '08, there was a big bailout. And so, that's just kind of some fundamental stuff about crypto, of why I believe in it, why I think it's the future, and why I think that one day, these fiat currencies may be no longer. And, and that's when we're going to really see Bitcoin go to 100 grand, 200 grand, maybe even $1 million a coin. You've probably seen some articles like that. You probably thought that was like maybe insane and you can't really fathom how it gets to that price, but it's because Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin is the mother of crypto, right? It is a finite amount of coin. They kind of call it gold 2.0, right? Has a lot of the same properties as gold as far as an asset, commodity going up in price or down, fluctuating of that nature. But you can always kind of mine some more gold. You can't mine Bitcoin forever. There's only a certain amount. And so, when you limit a supply like that and you have a demand that can increase, you start to have some kind of economics 101 where price points can really get high. When you talk about the market cap of the world and how much money is being traded in Forex, these different kind of markets, and that coming into crypto, and you talk about the inflation of the dollar, it's really not how valuable is that Bitcoin, it's how devalued is that dollar, right? That kind of gets that Bitcoin price to $1 million. It's just the dollar value has lost its value. So just kind of want to get those kind of wheels turning, because I think if you have that kind of information in your head, and you start to kind of see that as maybe being a possible future, you start to understand why people are wanting to take a large position in this. And there's really, really some high net worth individuals in the world that have taken very large positions in crypto just to kind of hedge themselves in case fiat's not, going to be the future. And so, with all that being said, what I'm going to talk about today is how you can leverage your coin, trade the markets, be able to play off other people's emotions, if you will, to be able to really increase your Bitcoin size before it has this crazy growth, this next parabolic move, and it goes to new highs and new price points like maybe 30, 40, 50 grand. So I have been trading for over 2 years now. Never was a big Forex trader or really any other trader. So I think that honestly has helped me out because I think there's some things that you can't unlearn when it comes to Forex. And there's some things that in Forex, they just don't apply over here. And so I kind of tell people, if you can learn to trade crypto, you can trade Forex. But if you're going to trade Forex, you can't trade crypto. It's not reversed like that. And so this is going to be really good information and good knowledge for you guys. And let's just kind of hop into this. Okay. So this was the market cap on CoinMarketCap. When the different points when I came in at the end of kind of 2016, it was more like September or so, but this does a pretty good justice as what I could find online. So Bitcoin about $750, you got Ethereum under $10, Ripple under a penny, Litecoin $4. Just kind of take a mental note of those four and those price points because they're still top 10 today. Back when I kind of updated this thing on March 3rd. We had some better price points than the PowerPoint I had before, but you got Bitcoin at 4,000 today. It's at 5,000, about 51,200. You got Ethereum at $137 today. Let's just say it's around. I just don't want to misquote it. You guys probably all pull up your Coinbase right now. But the price of Ethereum is 176, and I know Bitcoin Cash was up to like $300 from 130. It was like 100% in a week. So I say all that because even though we had a long bear run 2018 and we lost some US dollar to the market cap and people took profit, it's all part of what's called the market cycle, which I'm going to get into next. And so I've been saying for like the last 4 months that Bitcoin was not going to go to 1,800, 2,000, that we saw the floor at 3,500, that it was time to buy this coin up. And sure enough, right, the time is here, the wave's here. I got a big smile on my face because the shift is happening. The new bull run has started. The bulls are out, and I'm excited because I know what's about to happen. And so, even on this day, you got coins that are up 18%, 14%. Again, Litecoin $52. The other one we had talked about, and so they're up way up. So from when I got in, even though it had an 80%, 90% pullback on some of these coins, and so things can't just go up and up and forever. Things don't just go to the moon, right? There's volatility, and this volatility is just different than most volatility. And like Forex, if things says it's not so choppy, it's more grand waves and bigger pullbacks. It's all enhanced and magnified so much that most get really crazy. But if you know how to play those emotions, you don't always want to be on that side of the coin. You always can make money. And so remember, there's money and volatility. Things that are flat, right, you can't make any money on. If something's $10, right, you make money on that. You want price fluctuation. It's just how do you play the price fluctuation. That's what I'm going to teach, and that's what I coach, and this is why we have people making the money we do. So this is called the Wall Street cheat sheet. This is a good image to have in your head. Take a picture of it, screenshot it. This is what a market cycle is, and this is how it goes, and this is why it goes that way. And so when someone buys any asset commodity, they don't really necessarily believe in it, right? Someone might have told them about it. They might have done some research, but they're not a whole 100% all in on it, right? We call that disbelief stage. And that was kind of how I was when I bought Ripple under a penny, right? I mean, it made sense. I got it, but, I didn't know for sure if it was going to do what it was going to do, right? Well, then sure enough, it went up to 7 cents. Right? I made 100 grand in one day. I became hopeful, right? I mean, this is possible, right? And so then as it pulled back, the reason why I was able to put more money in is because I felt that emotion of, all right, there's really something that's going to be here. And then it went up, to 45 cents. I felt all these emotions of, euphoria. I'm a genius. I'm rich. Well, the good thing was that I sold, and I sold because I already had a target of $1 million, which I wasn't really thinking in Bitcoin value at the time. I was thinking more dollars. And so that $1 million price point to me was, Corey, it's time to sell this thing. And so I did. And sure enough, Ripple fell from 45 cents all the way back down to like 18 or 20 cents. So had I not sold, and for the people who didn't sell, they felt this anxiety, is this thing really going to go up? Am I losing all my money? And then even as it went down, they felt denial. And eventually they panic sell, right? That's what panic selling comes into play. You bought it down here, you made all this money, so you panic sell right here because you want to keep just a little bit of the profit that you made. And then those who didn't take that little bit of profit, it goes down 100% down, 100% retracement, as we call it. And they're angry, right? I mean, they're really angry. They probably sell. They might even hold out a loss. All of that. It's crazy. And I've felt all of that on one coin or another when I did not sell it when I should have. They have disbelief again, which is right here, which means that the market cycle starts over. Okay, so the top right corner, you have this peak. Well, this is the maximum financial risk. Buying at the top of a wave is the worst thing you can do. Call it FOMO. You're missing out. You do not want to be that person. There's somebody who bought Bitcoin at 19,500. It was probably from somebody who bought the Bitcoin where I did, in the hundreds, and they made a lot of money. And then that person who bought it had to hold it from 19,500, maybe all the way down to all the way back down to 3,500 or so, which is a very big paper loss, right? And so if they didn't sell that, I give them a big pat on the back because they shouldn't have, but I'm sure that a lot of people probably did. And so buying down here on the floor is the maximum financial opportunity. So the person who bought that Bitcoin from that person who finally panicked sold it at 3,500, well, they're already up, over 30% on their money. And so this is just why you do not let those emotions get to you. All it's going to happen is you're going to sell a coin, and the next few days it's going to be up in profit, and you're going to wish you never done it. And so you also see, the last thing I want to point out here is whenever the market cycle goes up again, usually it goes up a little bit higher than before. Call that a higher high or an all-time high versus an all-time low, or what we call a higher low. So hopefully when Bitcoin goes from $600 to 20,500, it doesn't come back down to 600, right? Which didn't. It came down to 3,500. We call that, a higher low, right? Kind of deal right here. And then we expect it to make a higher high. So this is that Wall Street cheat sheet right here in the bottom right corner. And right here is Bitcoin against the dollar. Looks almost identical, right? You got the move coming up. You got complacency right here, which is a fake out. Everyone thinks it's just a normal dip. They think it's going to keep going, but it doesn't. It cools off. It loses steam. And then the bears step in. The bears start to short it. They start to sell it down. And here we are right here, back at disbelief. Top right corner, you see the Elliott wave theory. Another good image to just instill into your brain. It's what I trade off of. It's what I have found to be the most successful. And so, theories are the word theory has always been interesting to me. It's like, obviously it doesn't stay true all the time. It kind of stays true most of the time, right? That's why it finally makes it into a book. But I mean, I say that because it's not always the case, right? But most of the time, it's good. And if you can be right, most of the time, 90% of the time, in my case, I don't really have any losses yet on the crypto one trades, but it starts to be profitable even if it doesn't work every time. And so the point of my trades is when I put out a trade for crypto one, I'm trying to put out the bottom. I'm trying to call the floor on this thing, which is definitely not easy to do. And then I'm trying to give you guys 3 take profits of the top of the Elliott wave. So I always put out a buy zone with 3 take profits. Just know that these three take profits are big moves. You know what I'm saying? Like that first take profit could be anywhere from 50 to 100% gain against Bitcoin. Or is there going to be volatility before that take profit? Absolutely. And this is where you see this little Elliott wave within the first wave. We call that waves within waves, right? there's a lot of trades that can be made in between that, but it just doesn't make sense all the time to play all of those waves, because the waves, the come downs could be so short. The volume might not be there for you to be able to definitely get back in and increase your position. So sometimes it's better, what I have felt, and as I've traded the last 2 years, to wait for the bigger move, to wait for the full first wave, because that second wave could be pulling back for maybe a month. So I want to try to get into a coin where we get in, not going to see a big paper loss, and then over a month or two of holding this coin, we're up, 50, 100%, which is better than 12% over the whole year, like we see in the United States on some hedge funds, on some mutual funds, and most people's retirement accounts. And so I guess I say that to kind of set expectations on. Sometimes a trade could be a month or two. Sometimes it could take profit in a day or two. I'm not the market maker. I try to see things before the market makers and other retail traders and the masses do, to where we're already positioned. We're in a move before everyone's chasing it. And when everyone's chasing it, we get out, right? We're able to sell that euphoria to people who are chasing it and sell into strength and be able to liquidate our position back into Bitcoin and then be out of that coin. Maybe it'll pull back for a month before going up and going up higher for that third wave. That gives us time to play another coin, make some more money on another coin that month, take profit on that, and swing it back over for the dip on two. So I'm really good at explaining stuff in the notes, and I don't always talk about this in other countries because I know people probably can't understand or read the notes. Great thing about the UK is you guys speak English probably better than my broken English down here in America, but I think it still does the trick. So after that, guys, you're going to have what's called an ABC retracement down. You want to get out on this euphoria. This is the ABC retracing back down right here, because you're just going to get caught holding the bag, and that's no fun. And so it's really kind of important to kind of jump on the entries when I put them out, because, a lot of times we'll see later down the start point, they do kind of move out the entry pretty quickly. And then why it's important to take profit when I say to take profit, because it usually comes down after that. So this is Ethereum versus the dollar. Ethereum is the number 2 coin in the market cap. It's its own market. And it also looks exactly like the Wall Street cheat sheet. And so this chart has a little bit more stuff for us to be able to talk about. The Elliott wave is very, very apparent to me. So first, you have one market cycle. This thing was under $1. It went up to about $350. Then it came all the way back down to, I don't know, maybe $100 or so, right? That was scaring a lot of people. People who bought Ethereum at $350 because they bought into that fear of missing out. They were tested, and they all thought Ethereum was probably going to zero, right? Everyone was freaking out. Oh, it's done, blah, blah. It was a bubble, right? Only for it to hold the retracement and go back up to the same price point where it saw resistance before. So we call this a market cycle. This is another market cycle. Probably can see some waves here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Complacency, back down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Market cycles, Elliott waves within that. Only for us to have a very big grand market cycle after that. A very 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very clear Elliott wave with either this being an ABC retracement down or this being an ABC retracement back down. Right? Different time frames, different people will say different things. This could be its own market cycle and another market cycle. I'm trying to help you guys understand why analysis or analysts make the kind of analysis they do. This could be going over your head. Hopefully, this could be the first time you see this. This could be maybe the fourth time you see this PowerPoint. Over time, it'll really start to make a lot of sense. But then again, you could say that this whole thing was a market cycle, right? And this thing came from here to euphoria, back down. We're back in this wave. So a lot of different ways to look at it. Either way, this shows itself time and time again, and it's why we're able to trade off of it and make money off of it. Regardless, we are at a great time to buy this coin, right? This is that financial opportunity to buy Ethereum. I know we have Ethereum contracts out there with Kavera. I know we had to pause those machines. For all that know, I also was mining at $60,000 in my own equipment, not contracts. I myself, turned off the rigs and did not make sense, right, to pay the electricity bill on that when I could use the money on the electricity bill to just buy Ethereum outright and have more coin doing that than mining it. And so They did consult me as a trader, of crypto. What do you think about this? I told them I think we should implement part of the contract and turn them off. You know what I'm saying? Save you guys your token value, right? There's only so many days that it's going to mine. I want to mine higher token days than lower token days. But with that being said, now that we're getting back up on Ethereum's price, we're getting back towards 300 or so, where mining Ethereum is, break even and profitable, we'll start to turn those back on. And I say that because now is still the time to buy as much as you can, right? Because it's never going to be as cheap as it is right now, I guess is my point. All right, so Ethereum versus dollar versus Ethereum versus Bitcoin. This is where it kind of starts to get a little bit more complex, but this is where it really comes down to the concept of trying to make more Bitcoin and how you can actually be making more US dollars and more British pounds, but actually be losing Bitcoin, which is still okay, right? You're still making more money. That's kind of the great thing about trading crypto. I mean, even if you're losing Bitcoin, you're still making dollars, right? But we can make even more US dollars or British pounds if we make our Bitcoin and trade it better, because when Bitcoin really goes up against the dollar, the compound in there is going to be great. But like I said, you could even be losing Bitcoin and be making dollars, as I'll show you right here. And so, imagine June 2017, Ethereum is about, 340, 350, but the Bitcoin price of Ethereum is about 0.16 Satoshis, okay? Bitcoin's price is called Satoshis. The creator is Nakamoto, Satoshi, whatever, it's named after him, okay? And so really what this means right here is that one Ethereum equals 16% of one Bitcoin, okay? So if you had a Bitcoin and you wanted to buy Ethereum, that's how much of your Bitcoin it would have cost you to buy one Ethereum, okay? Well, as Bitcoin went on a rage to $20,000, you saw Ethereum go on its rage to $1,300. Well, the price percentage gain on Bitcoin against the dollar was greater than Ethereum's gain against the dollar during that given time frame, and that's why you saw the Bitcoin price go from 0.16 Satoshis to about 0.3 or 2 Satoshis, okay? And so what that means is, even though your Ethereum would have been up 4 times, right, you would have turned 1,000 British pounds into 4,000 British pounds, you could have bought, 4 Bitcoin right here with the same 4,000, or 1,000 to 4,000 with the same 1,000 British pounds, right? You could have bought 1 Bitcoin, and then that would have been worth $20,000, right? You would have had more money keeping it in Bitcoin than having it in Ethereum, and your Bitcoin value might be 0.1, whatever it was that you put in to have that same 1,300 US value. So I probably didn't say it just right. That's going to take a minute or two to sink in. I think I did say that right. Just know that you can lose Bitcoin value and be going up in the dollar value, which is not what you want. So what I'm trying to do when I trade, I don't trade against the dollar. I trade against Bitcoin. And this way we can, make Bitcoin all the time. And that way, even if you're losing British pounds or dollars and you're making Bitcoin, you're also still winning, right? And so, again, Bitcoin's what we're trying to achieve because we believe that's the end goal and everything. So this Digibyte versus the US dollar, just a cryptocurrency coin, just kind of really want to show these market cycles that happen. And sometimes when it goes up to try to start a new market cycle, it doesn't make a new all-time high the first time, right? It could get shut down, some resistance, but then look right here. Not only did it make a new all-time high, but it blew past it, almost doubled it, right? And so it actually did double it. So this is just kind of what I want you to see, again, how this could happen with Bitcoin, right? This could have been the move to 20,000, right? We could maybe not get up to 20,000 right away. It could get shut down a couple times, but we still will see, 40, 50 grand a coin, over these next few years, in my opinion. And, it very well could happen by the end of the year. If we kind of see the kind of parabolic move that we saw, at the end of 2017, it's very, very possible. Another good example of how, we have market cycles against Bitcoin going up, making a really big move against Bitcoin, but also another example how if you were in an alternative coin, when Bitcoin went to 20,000, you would have been making dollars, but you would have been losing some Bitcoin right here, right? And so this just means that there's time to trade alts to make more Bitcoin, and it's times to be in Bitcoin and ride that wave against the fiats, right? I know when to do both kind of now, right? I mean, I've been able to see both the bull run, the bear run, and there will be a time, you know what I mean, to maybe get out of crypto, you know, for the next bear run. Because if you have that US dollar value that you've made and you're able to buy into dip on Bitcoin, it's a very great way to increase your Bitcoin as well. So we'll talk about that when the time comes. The time right now is trade alts, and the bull run is here. But there's always trades to be made is the point. And so, you know, Fibonacci, a great mathematician back in the day, has come up with these percentages right here. I'm not going to talk about it too much because I teach it now in our new product called the Crypto Coach. A lot of people are having a lot of success in this product, and I'm going to talk about it at the end. So I'm not going to talk about it right now. So this is Poloniex. This is the buy versus sell orders, okay? And so this is why you see big red, green candlesticks, okay? Red or green candlesticks. So the red candlesticks are sells, green candlesticks are buying, right? And so if I have 4.8 million digibyte on here, which I do have more than this now, it's still screenshot, but this is a lot of digibyte, right? Back when I put it in, it was like, I don't know, I put like 30 or 40 Bitcoin into it. And so if you look right here, you'll see the sum of all of these orders is only 7.3 Bitcoin. So that means that these orders right here do not equal up to 4.8 million, okay? And so that means that if I, Crypto Corey, wanted to sell my digibyte, well, I can't just sell all of it at 375 Satoshis, which is the highest price someone's willing to pay for or just bought it at, right? When a coin is bought at a price, it becomes that price, okay? And so it doesn't mean that there's $1 billion willing to be bought at that price. So if I had $1 billion of Bitcoin, I could just sell out of it, okay? There has to be liquidity there for that transaction to be made. And so with that being said, you know, 374, 373, someone is willing to buy 216 digibyte at the price point of 374. We have someone else willing to buy 2,500 at 373. Well, if I want to sell all of it and I want to get rid of it right now, I don't want to wait for someone to buy into a big sell order, as I'll talk about in a second, I can do what's called, I can dump it, okay? I can just make a big all red candlestick. I could go down here, I could click on 359, populate the price right there, and sell 7 Bitcoin worth. So boom, I hit sell. Now 7.3 is up here, and I just sold however much digibyte that is. And then the price of digibyte just dumped from 374 down to 359, just like that. It wasn't a whole bunch of people planning selling, right? It was one individual that made a big all red candlestick, and I haven't even got done selling yet, right? So now, I'm not a whale when it comes to Bitcoin and Ethereum and some of these larger market cap coins, but I am a whale when it comes to some alternative coins that I'm in because of how heavy I go in and how, you know, how much money I put into it, right? Sometimes I might throw a couple hundred Bitcoin at a trade. And so with that being said, imagine now Bitcoin, right? These women and guys that have, I don't know, 50,000 Bitcoin, right? The amount of, you know, coins I have on some other ones. Well, when they want to go and sell their Bitcoin into $1 and they want to sell, I don't know, 2,000 coins at one time, think about the order books and how they have to go into those order books and sell it. And that's how the price of Bitcoin is able to go from 4,000 to 5,000, just like that, or maybe even from, you know, 19,500 back to 3,500, right? And so just because the price had a retracement and there's volatility doesn't have anything to do with how great the technology or the fundamentals of these coins and blockchain, all this stuff in the future, right? It has to do with investors and traders, the emotions of traders, all these. That's what I'm trying to really help you guys understand right here, is that if I come in here and I sell a whole bunch of digibyte and I dump it down, right, and then other people start to freak out because they don't know what's going on, so they sell, I just caused the sell-off. That's what happened with Bitcoin, right? You had a couple of market makers, major players, whales, whatever you want to call it, decide, hey, we don't want the Bitcoin price to go to 40, 50 grand right now. We'd rather have it go back down to 3,000 so we can shake out these people who bought it late, who are people like us, who we don't want to become millionaires. Remember, only 50 Bitcoin and you were a millionaire at $20,000 coin. Do you know how many people I know that got in the space when I did that had 50 to 100 Bitcoin that were just normal young guys that were like in their 20s? I mean, it was astonishing how many millionaires that I knew that made $1 million from Bitcoin with 20,000. They don't want that. Banks don't want that. The government doesn't want that. Countries don't want that, right? They want to control the money. That's why Bitcoin's so great, because they can't control it. It's decentralized. And so I say all that to say that they brought it down on purpose. It wasn't just manipulation. It was price suppression. I mean, every single time we were about to break it down trend, a news article came out saying some stuff that wasn't even true that started another sell-off. So I say that because this thing is going back up. It's going to go back up hard. And from Bitcoin going from 3,500 to 5,000 was not only the reversal in the bull run, it was the confirmation that we are not going to see these lower prices, in my opinion, right? So my opinion's been pretty strong lately. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Trading strategy. This is important to talk about. So whenever you come into crypto, you got to trade a little bit differently, I think, than some of the other kind of assets or commodities. And so I kind of like to use my example of Ripple right here, of what I was able to do with kind of finding, a good trade that made sense, or a good coin, and really going kind of all in and capitalizing on that move, and then leveraging it across other coins, other moves that had kind of the same setup, right? And so with that being said, if you're new to cryptocurrency or you don't have a whole lot of trading capital, let's say you have $500 US, I would not say to put that in 5 trades or 5 coins, right? I'd say to put that into one coin, kind of like I did on Ripple, right? So this bottom chart is a more aggressive trader, which obviously is higher risk. The top chart is more conservative. I'm 28 years old. Like I mentioned, I don't have a family and kids yet. Now's the time to take as much risk as possible. If you're older, your retirement age is coming up, or whenever you want to retire, at that age different for everybody. But yeah, kids and families, you got to think a little bit differently. You got to be a little bit more conservative, right? So you know who you are. Let's now dive into what these charts mean. So if you want to be more conservative, put that into coins. But if you want to be, more risk, again, one, because the fact is that coin makes a 50 to 100% move, like that first take profit, let's use 100% for example. Well, you just made it from $500, your account's now $1,000. Well, how you put that $100 in across 5 different trades for the 500, and that coin hits, well, you only made $100 on that one trade, right? So your account really is only at 600 versus 1,000, and those other coins might not have done anything or popped off, and they're just done. So this is why it's better to kind of strike while the iron's hot, because if you double up on a coin that looks better than the other coin, well, then now you can swing over the profits to the other coin that still looked good, but wasn't as far along as the other one. This is kind of the idea of, again, don't just kind of throw darts at the dartboard hoping one sticks, when you can really make an educated move on one specific 2 coins. And so this is why our Crypto One, I don't put out all these crazy trades, right? Yes, there's thousands of coins in the market. A lot of them have no liquidity for you to even trade out of, even if you made money. So there's like kind of blue chip stocks, right? It's like the blue chip cryptos. It's kind of what I like to play. So I play some speculative ones here now that might be 50 to 100 on the market cap, sure. But with those kind of coins, you get better gains. I guess the best example of that, if you have a coin that has $1 billion market cap and you want to see 100% gain on that, well, $1 billion has to come into that coin, versus if a coin only has $100 million market cap, right? Well, 900 million coming into that, right, to make it $1 billion is going to be way more percentage gain, right, than just 100% on the other coin. So that kind of big money coming into smaller coins can really give us some big gains and big pumps, since we play those as well. And so you kind of want to diversify yourself on that nature, as far as, are you in high market cap coins and small market cap coins, kind of more how you want to diversify, I guess. And as you grow your portfolio, right, as you make more money, you can be in more coins. But like a guy like myself, again, I got several millions of dollars in crypto, and I'm never in more than 10 coins. So 10 coins is plenty diversified. You still got your eggs across different baskets. But when one of those coins hit, you can really see a substantial amount of profit and gains in Bitcoin value. I don't know how many of y'all follow my stories, but when Bitcoin went from 4,000 to 5,000 over like a 2-day period, I made like $1.2 million. I made like 700 grand overnight, and then like 400 grand the next day. And so that's the kind of volatility that plays in your favor. I'm still gaining US dollars back from my original high on my portfolio, but I've also got a lot more coin today than I did back then. So I'm excited for the bull run and what these volatility is going to bring. But I just say that because that's kind of what you have in store in the future as you start to really grow your position, start to transfer maybe your huge British pound nest egg that you got that's not really making a whole lot of money into crypto, right? To where a 25% gain could make you 25 grand or 50 grand or 100 grand. I know a lot of people got a lot of British pounds out there in the UK, and I know British pounds a lot more US dollars. So I'm just trying to help y'all kind of think because, I got crypto coach students we'll get to here at the end that, have gone big in crypto as they've learned and they've got educated and they've got accounts where they've got 100 grand plus in there, which a lot of that is capital, not even necessarily gains. And they've, had days where they made $22,000 in a day. This is one of my French students because of the move that he made and the accumulation that he did before the pump from 4,000 to 5,000. And so that was such a minuscule pump. I know I didn't say that word right, but anyways, it's such a small pump of what's about to happen as we go from 5,000 to 10,000 and on. So remember, it's all about percentage gain. If you only put $1,000 into this, it goes up a whole bunch. You're not going to capitalize the same if you had put 50, or something like that. So I kind of call cryptocurrency a wealth transfer. This is a time where there's going to be a lot of people who weren't millionaires are going to become millionaires through this. Just like there was deregulation of energy, airlines, telecommunications. These were other wealth transfers. Like I was in a big energy company. I always preach that I was, in the wealth transfer as we deregulated more states and I could get more. Anyways, no states deregulated the year I built the company. I mean, I missed the wave, right? I already missed deregulation of energy. That was when those first 17 states deregulated from the monopoly, and there were people like us that could get in that space. Well, I missed that. I missed airlines and I missed telecommunications. There was a big company called Excel Communications back in the day, right, where people made so much money on telecommunications, right? And from going from long distance payments to not, all that kind of stuff, right? Well, this is ours. Cryptocurrency is ours, right? This is the one that we're alive for, where we're going to see a big shift in the way people transact their money, the way people hold their money, and store value, all that kind of stuff. And so it would be a shame for us all to know about it and be on a call like this and then not take advantage of it. And then one day Bitcoin is 100, 200 grand and our fiats aren't what they were supposed to be, and companies or countries are filing bankruptcy and losing their currencies, and like we've seen in other countries. And so, now's the time to be able to get as much Bitcoin value for your dollar. If you start to wait for more mass adoption and for, the signs to all align for different things, you might take your 100 grand that you had in British pounds and only buy one Bitcoin versus you could have bought. I'm not even going to try to do the math on it at 5,000. I know it's an easy number, but, as a finance guy major, right, as we grow, we start to not use our head as much and use our calculators. So I think I'm pretty funny, guys. They're kind of rolling off the tongue good today, but I'm just trying to help you guys really understand kind of where I'm coming from again and how serious I am about this market, and I want people to take advantage of it as much as possible. Let's start talking about some of these games. So in the last, I guess it's been a year now, I started on April 1st of the Crypto One conveyor trading. So over the year, it's been around 1,900% gain against Bitcoin. Could be getting close to 2,000. I need to update the tracker. It's a significant amount against Bitcoin, and some of these trades is kind of how we got to that number. So here's an example of when I said to buy Ethereum Classic in this yellow buy zone, and then I put out these 3 teal lines that take profits. I always put out take profits same time I put out the buy zone to where you guys kind of got a good picture of what's going to happen, and y'all can be ready to sell it even if I'm sleeping, right? And so this is a good example, too, of why whenever you see one of my buy entries, I always say none on stop loss. So you do use stop losses in Forex. I get it. But you don't in cryptocurrency. You'll just lose money, and the manipulation's too great, and you'll just end up being back in Bitcoin before you would have had gains. This is a good example, right? If you would have bought Ethereum Classic with your Bitcoin, well, there was a huge dump right here. As we talked about before on the other side of the sellers, this could have been one person who had a whole bunch of Ethereum Classic and dumped it down, panic sold people as well as pushed people out who had stop losses back into Bitcoin, only for it to have a impulsive move for 22% to my take profit. Down here in the notes, it says, hey, you know, it got impulsive only 3 days after, right? So I told you sometimes it could take a month and a half. This one was only 3 days, and then it went up 22% against Bitcoin. Now, remember, 22% against Bitcoin is not 22% against the British pound, right? You could add one Bitcoin, turn that into 1.22, right? And then 22.22 Bitcoin times 5,000 is a different number than 0.22 Bitcoin times 20,000, right? And that's why this could be way more than 22% against the British pound. So again, another time I just want to kind of get that educational moment. But if you had a stop loss, again, you would have been pushed out of this coin right before it got pumped. One thing I also want to show you is that this thing got listed on Coinbase 3 days after I said to buy it. Cryptocoin did not have information that Coinbase is about to list it. It just looked really good from a technical analysis standpoint. This is why I don't get caught up on fundamental stuff on the news. I say sell the news, because what's funny is that as soon as it got listed on Coinbase, it dumped all the way back down and had a retracement, right? So it literally hit my take profit perfectly and then came down. This take profit, this number was not chosen randomly. You know, there was a reason for this number of take profit. It had to do with resistance and price up in the past. And, you know, this is, again, things that I coach in the program. But, you know, this had a pullback to where it would have been a great time to take profit. Re-enter right here for the wave 3. So this is a 1, 2, and a 3, right? Sometimes things go a little bit below the entry. This is why you trust your entry and you just buy more. Call it averaging down. Let's say you bought so much coin at $100 and then you bought the same amount of coin at $50. Well, now your average price per coin is $75. So for the person who didn't average down, who bought at 100, they're waiting on the price point to go back to 100 just to break even. Well, you're already in profit now when that price point goes to 100, right? So the concept is that you have a different percentage gain on your first bias than you do your second bias. And this was, you know, about 35% here. So if you would have played both moves to what they were, you would have got about 22% here, got back in, had more coin going into the next move, and then pulled about another, you know, 25, 30% versus just staying in this thing the whole time and only getting 35%. So you want to play all the moves because that's how you get the most volatility, even out of one coin. This example of a buy zone or a buy signal that I did on 10x Pay. Again, the buy zone was up there, had 3 take profits. Reason for the buy zone, Fibonacci. I'm not going to go into it too much right now. But the main thing I want y'all to see is that this thing came down to one more Fibonacci line before going up 70%. Okay, so it's another good example of had you bought this coin, it would have been great to buy more because you probably would have made 100% on this coin versus the 70% on this coin. And so my analysis does normally, I'm trying to be so compliant here, fulfill itself, right? There is a reason for these analysis, but sometimes things take longer than supposed to, and sometimes things get sold down because of emotions more than we think. And so we try to make the best entry as possible, we try to be as patient as possible because it's a small paper loss, right? You don't mind holding something at a 10, 15, 20% unrealized loss, unrealized, to make a 70% realized gain, right? Actually, so this is why we don't panic sell. And this is why the averaging down is so key. And so here's another coin, Digibyte, where I put out an entry and it came out of the entry right away. You know, it didn't come down any further. And so again, this is why I wouldn't really always say, you know, be patient for the bottom of the buy zone or, you know, whatever. I mean, get in there if it's a good entry on it. And I don't put a signal out unless it's in the entry. So some traders are like, hey, when it gets to this zone, buy it. I think you need another alert for that, right? So I just put out the alert when it's time so you guys can go and execute the move right then and there. This thing came out of the gate really quickly. I put out the buy, 76%. This is 21 days from here to here, so that's probably less. That's probably like, you know, 17 days, maybe 2 weeks for that move, only for it to come back down. So one thing I want to say right here, whenever you take profit on a coin, right, you just made 75% right here, right? and it goes up a little bit more, don't chase it, right? There's no reason to chase a coin over 5 or 10 more percent when you just made 75. Because look what happened. It pulled back all the way back almost to the buy zone. So had you taken profit here, bought back in here with all of the profit you whatever you made, well, you just lost, 78% on that full amount. You fully leveraged your profits, right? And you just lost it all. Versus if you would have took the gains, been patient, waited for the retracement, you could have bought back in here with the 75% gain, so way more digit buy than you had before, and then now you're taking profit at that third wave right there, or sorry, 1, 2, 3, yeah, exactly. And so from here to here is 117%. So you could have made about 75% here, maybe about another 100% here, versus only making 170% sitting through all this and dealing with the ups and downs and losing all this USD value to your account and BTC out of your account, right? Why ride that wave of emotions back down when you can sell into the strength and the euphoria? I hope this is making sense. This is the one where, I put out a buy on XMR. It was up, hit my take profit. I myself got a bit greedy. It was only like 20%. I don't really like putting out take profits that are 20%. That's like nothing in crypto. That's like one day of volatility in crypto. And so, most of the time my take profits are about 50%, right? Or it's more like I mentioned. XMR, though, is a high market cap coin, top 5. I don't know what it is today, but it takes a lot more money coming into it for you to get the gain, right? I think the reason why I went ahead and held off on that take profit was because we did dip a little bit below the buy zone before going up. And so anyways, I held off. It came down. It broke my trend line. I was like, we come down more. And I went ahead and put out the take profit. And because I did not trust my own take profit, we lost about 4%. Not a big deal. But this is why you don't get greedy. This is why you take profit when you should, because, every percent counts. And so exchanges, BitChex, FlowingX, Binance are the 3 exchanges that I use. Binance is the largest trade volume out there, really good for liquidity for big positions. BitChex, Binance are both USA-based. I feel that they're a bit more safer because they're under the scrutiny of the United States. They got the SEC and different regulators to where they got to be a little bit more on their P's and Q's. Be pretty tough for them to just kind of fall to face earth. Not that it can't happen. People in the USA do it all the time. But, we're already in the wild west. You just got to be as safe as possible. There's a lot of exchanges out there. There was one called Cryptopia that just went down a while back that they got hacked. They could never come back. People had their coin on there, may never see it again. And this is why it's important to have, for one thing, Google authentication on your accounts. Like as soon as you set up an account, you set up a Google Authenticator. That means that now if people have your username and password, they cannot get into your account without these 6 digits that change every 15 minutes. If you see right here, I did have an account on Cryptopia. There was a time where I took a trade called Linda, and I bought it like 3 Satoshis, and I sold it like 100 Satoshis. I made like 25 or 30 Bitcoin on the trade. It was a good amount of coin. And my buddy didn't have a Google Authenticator on his account, and they didn't. Cryptopia doesn't have the kind of security as some of the other ones like BitChex and stuff. They do like an email thing and stuff like that. Anyways, they hacked his account. He got into his account, and all of his altcoins were traded back into Bitcoin and moved off his account. And there was nothing he could do. That Bitcoin was moved from Bitcoin back into XMR, Monero, and Zcash, which are privacy coins, which you no longer can track. And so he got did pretty dirty. And so it was bad for him. The good thing for me was that I moved all my Bitcoin off that exchange after it happened. It was only a few grand for him. It still was a bummer, but it could have been worse. And it was good for me because I moved my coin off of it in time for it to not get lost for that thing. So just when I see these things, guys, this is why I tell y'all, because I'm trying to save y'all as much money, not only on trades, but from hackers and all the crazies out there. And this is why I teach y'all to trade crypto, because once you learn how to trade your Bitcoin, you will never give your Bitcoin to any company that says they can grow it for you. USI Tech, Gladia Coin. I mean, I doubled my coin on Gladia Coin. I heard about it back in like January of 17 or something like that. It was double your Bitcoin in I think 90 days, and I put like 8 Bitcoin into it. I bought 3 positions, kind of deal. I say this only because it went away, and I doubled my Bitcoin before it did. So I got lucky. I got in early within USI Tech was another one that I threw like $700. It wasn't as much because I saw Litecoin went down, but I said the heck with it because people were making some crazy money, only for it to go down. And I know people who lost millions of dollars in USI Tech. So I got a soft spot for those people. And this is why, with the Crypto One, as I was telling Kavera, how great of a product this was because people keep their own coin. It's in their accounts. And I'm just telling them how to leverage it instead of saying, oh, give it to me, I'll leverage it for you. And if I lose it, well, no, you're not getting your coin back, right? That's ridiculous. And that's what most of these companies do, that you give their coin and compound it. They're just trading it, right? They're trying to do stuff with it. And if they make money, they'll give you your percentage back. But if they lose it, they're going to shut the company down, right? What's the point in going through that roller coaster and all that? And so, great thing about Bitcoin. So, this is an Estino ledger. I got a lot of them. I got coin on different ones. Same kind of idea of not having all your coin on one exchange. You don't want to have all your coin on one cold storage. If that cold storage is lost or stolen, that coin is gone. And so, don't tell anybody where it is. Keep your stuff safe. It's kind of like keeping money on your mattress. You know what I'm saying? So get a big safe. But it's better than having it on the exchange when the exchange goes down. So I kind of say only keep on the exchange what's readily tradable. If you're in Digibyte and Digibyte's up and you're looking at selling it pretty soon, or you think it's about to make the move, obviously you don't want it on cold storage when it's making the move and you're gone or something like that. You can't make the sell on the exchange. So if you're planning on holding a coin for a long time, months, it would be smart to go ahead and move it off the exchange. With that being said, I do keep out of the exchange. It's probably more than I should. But it's also because I keep really large trade positions in. I don't like doing transactions on the blockchain. It sounds crazy, but the fewer transactions that I can do is good. Blockchain transactions ever not gone through, but it's user mistakes. The blockchain's perfect. It's us that make mistakes and don't put addresses in right or those kind of things. And so whenever I'm doing something, I always like to do a test transaction, like 1 Bitcoin before sending 50 or 100. Just to do a test transaction. You copy that address over, you got to freaking 510 check it. You know what I mean? That it's right. And so that's best practice. As you see, these cold storages, they do hold multiple coins as, things have developed over the last year and a half. I mean, these cold storages are, they hold like 50, 100 coins, different coins. So definitely mass adoption there. This is a clip from the show Billions. It actually just started a new season. Really good. I suggest watching it. It's on Showtime. It's hedge fund stuff. They introduced crypto in the second season, and he's literally paying his traders like $1 million in Bitcoin on cold storage, kind of like under the table bonuses for doing different things. Interesting. Again, the whole thing about crypto, it's kind of like you have an offshore bank account, right? I mean, no one can track it. IRS can't look at it here in the States. No one really knows how much money I got. It's kind of a good feeling, and so I only have to sell, into my bank account what I want to sell for bills, and I only got to pay capital gains on what moves to my bank account. And so, I can say all that honestly and truthfully. That's just how it is. It's not like I'm trying to get around anything. It's just how it is. And so, if that's how you like your money to be, well, I know. If you don't, well, too. This is a slide of, screenshot of my cold storage of Bitcoin Cash. Kind of looks the same as an exchange. Kind of keeps up with your portfolio a little bit. Shows your transactions down here, operations. You can tell, whenever I took the screenshot, it was a while back, but Bitcoin Cash was going down the dollar. So, when it gets down like that, you just got to wait and be patient. You know what I mean? You got to just decide that you're going to wait to buy things that you're going to buy. And that just hold delayed gratification. There's no point in selling things at a loss and, still buying it just because you have the money if it's going to be more of your portfolio allocation that you want to do, right? That's kind of a story of me, man. I was about to buy over $1 million home, Mediterranean style, really cool mansion style looking deal. And then, I lost $1 million on my portfolio in a couple of days as it started to pull back. And even though I had the money to buy the home still, why would I want to do that when I just lost the amount of it on my portfolio? Or why would I want to spend $1 million in coin at 10,000 and then it goes up to 20,000 and now I'm sitting in a house that I paid $2 million for? Well, it's only worth $1 million. And so that's called opportunity loss, and I don't like opportunity loss. And so kind of give you guys just the kind of mindset there of, now is the time to be frugal. Now it's time to not necessarily buy what you want to buy today, to where you can go ahead and throw the $5,000 into here. Bitcoin goes back to 20,000. That's 4 times, right? Now your $5,000 is worth 20 grand. You can buy 4 of those that you're going to buy one of, or buy what you're going to buy and buy it 4 times better. You know what I mean? So it's kind of how my mindset works, and I've really been wanting to just not hold stuff, even though I'm making good money. I think it's a good way to live life. It's a good way to never have to go back to a job, and it's a good way to never lose your wealth. And so, I know a lot of people, they make $1 million and they lose $1 million. I've heard the story 100 times. That wasn't me. When I became a millionaire, I stayed a millionaire. When I became a multi-millionaire, I stayed a multi-millionaire. And I don't say it to brag. I say it because if you know what you're doing, and you're smart about your money, your finances, and your spending, and you live below your means, all these kind of things that I preach and teach, you're going to be in really good shape. And you're going to be able to have a skill set for the rest of your life. You're going to be able to leverage your money, put your dollars to work, all your dollars to workers. And you don't have to trade your time for money, or even have to, leverage a team. I build big teams. It's kind of stressful sometimes. I've kind of taken a step back from doing more consulting, and it's been a nice quality of life change. Not that I won't ever get back to building. I'm sure I will. It's in my blood. But it's just been nice to be able to really just take a footing on what I'm trying to accomplish here in the crypto space and the education side. And so some take-home tips that is good. I would take a screenshot of this right here as well, or a picture. Buy the fear, sell the greed. When other people are fearful, you're greedy. When people are greedy, be fearful. That was Warren Buffett. And it's true here for trading for sure. And so, it's easier to sell a coin when people are chasing it because the buy orders are bigger, right? So you sell into the strength. If you wait and get too greedy on a coin, the sellers start to step in and buyers start to step away, you're not going to have the buyers there to get back into Bitcoin. You're going to end up having to dump your coin and sell it cheaper than you want, for sure. And so, and the same goes the other way. If you want to buy a coin, it's way easier to buy it when people are freaking out, and a lot of people want to sell it because you have sellers there. Sell the news. When Ripple was saying it was going to go to $1, it didn't. It stopped at 47.50 right? When they said it was going to go to $5, it didn't. It stopped at about $3 or so. When Bitcoin was supposed to go to 40, 50 grand, it didn't. It stopped at 20. So what I say is cut the news in half, right? When things are being talked about on the news, it's kind of my time to get out of a coin. You're not going to get rich by watching the news. I think that's pretty clear on anything, right? You got to see things before everyone else. You got to do what the 1% do. You got to, create your own path. It works in our market, works in everything, right? So we want to be in a coin when no one's talking about it. And when people are talking about it, it's time for us to get out of it and find a different one. We say bulls make money, bears make money, pigs get slaughtered. That just means the bulls are the ones buying it, pushing it up. They made their money. Bears, the ones shorting it, they make money. The pigs are the people who don't know what they're doing. They're running around like chickens with their head cut off. They're buying a coin. They're selling at 5% loss here to chase this other coin that looks like it's going up. And they get that coin, and then it goes down 5%. So go back to that coin, and they're just all over the place. You don't want to do that. You don't want to get caught chasing things. It's just a way to bleed your account slowly but surely from one Bitcoin all the way down to 0.1 because you lost points here, and then there. You get it. Don't get caught with the FOMO, that fear of missing out. Again, best example are the people who did buy Bitcoin because they finally saw it on the news, even though their friends said to buy it at 7 and 8 grand, but they bought it because it was on the news every day from 16 to 17. Well, they let that fear of missing get the better of them, and they got tested and got caught holding back. Don't let the FUD get to you, that fear, uncertainty, and doubt. There was no reason to sell your coin when it was, at $5,000 after it was worth $20,000, right? Unless you just had to pay your bills. I mean, I get it, but if you wanted to just protect your investment, that was just not the right move, right? And so I kind of made a joke the other day when, the Bitcoin jumped from 5,000, I appreciate all you guys who sold me at 3,500 because, I was like, y'all are the real MVP. And the reason for that is because it's like, why would you have done that, right? And then you just gave me your Bitcoin super cheap. And so I say that because I want that to like really ring a bell. You know what I mean? Because I just don't think people get it. And that's how people lose money, is by realizing a very big loss because they just can't take it anymore. And that's just the last thing you want to do. So don't let the fear of uncertainty get to you is more important to not letting the FOMO get to you. Because even if you FOMO a coin, you buy it too high, as long as you don't let the fear of uncertainty get to you, at least you're holding it so it at least gets higher again. But if you're letting that fear and stuff get to you, and you can't control that fear and doubt, probably should not be trading anything. Is just kind of the trading 101 on that. So never use a stop loss in crypto. Also very important. Keep only what's in trade. Only exchange what's in trade. We talked about that. Trust your targets. Trust your targets. Take profit while it's there. We say that the coins take the elevator up. The stairs up and the elevator down, right? It's going to slowly go up in these waves, but when it comes down, it's going to come down pretty hard. And so it's always good if you're at profit on something and you're at a comfortable profit to realize the gains and make the sell. Through authentication is so important, and then be cautious of the exchanges you move your money to. Okay, so I'm going to talk about Crypto Coach. I'm not going to do too much on it just because I know we got a lot of beginners in crypto here, and it is important to use Crypto One, get your account going, learn some stuff, how I'm moving and grooving, and get comfortable with me, I guess, before Crypto Coach is a product for you. But with that being said, Crypto Coach is for people who want to take cryptocurrency trading seriously. They want to know, Corey, why are we doing this? I see you put out this buy zone, but, I got 10, 15 grand to put in this thing, right? I don't really want to put it in there without really knowing what the heck you're doing and why you're doing it, right? And so that's where Crypto Coach comes in. I do a live market review every Thursday at 4 p.m. Central Time, kind of is able to capture, people coming off work, on the USA side, as well as, people on your side of the earth and the East Coast. You guys are getting done with your business meetings or your different things like that. And so I am recording this thing. And so if you are in a business meeting that runs late or you can't do it, you got to go to sleep, you got to wake up early in the morning, you can't watch the recording. And so, in this market review, I'm talking about all the coins that we're in as a company, as well as the ones that I'm looking at for the future, as well as ones that people ask me to look at. And so doing the analysis in front of everybody, talking through it while I'm doing it, all these indicators that I'm trading off of, ones that I keep secret for myself, but I bleed it all out for my students. I really don't hold anything back. There's a lot of students out there now in the UK with some great success stories that have been on these, reviews for weeks now and can see, what I'm talking about and can testify to what I'm saying, and the results have been really insane. Back in the UK, the last event that people were making their money back in a couple of days, 2 weeks, and it's held true, especially with the US dollar value coming back to Bitcoin. Everyone's making their money back. I got guys in France that are making $7 grand a day, $22,000 in a day, 24-hour change, and these are guys that weren't even making 4,000 residual on the comp plan. So this is a real deal. This is a real product. This is real money for people who have money, and so, on top of that review, I do an onboarding call. I need to update this. It's more than 15 minutes, usually it's about an hour, on this review. I help you get your trading view set up. I help you get all your indicators formatted on there. I do some rundowns of Elliott Wave and market cycles, these kind of things to really kind of give more of that kind of personal, basic information, education to where you can hop on that review seamlessly. I get you the reviews from, the recordings from before. We can watch it, kind of get caught up for the Thursday coming up to where you're on page with everybody and know the coins we're talking about. And, with this, you're also able to kind of get in the coins before the Crypto One, 20,000 members, because, I'm talking about coins that I'm looking at. I'm putting out buy zones where we're waiting for it to come down to where you actually know the buy zone before everyone else, because I'm not pushing the buy zone out to everyone else until it's in the buy zone, right? And so it's kind of that kind of head of the stack, kind of, if you will, I guess, for you being, part of the Crypto Coach group, and you're able to take positions before, a lot of other volume comes into that thing. We do this via Zoom, Skype. Most time it's Zoom. It's always easier for, sharing portfolios. I help also, walk someone through, how to execute a trade if they've never done it. I'll even help show you how to move your Bitcoin from Coinbase to the exchange, and then how to place the trade. So, I know there's a lot of people who want to trade cryptocurrency. Maybe they've seen the gains coming from Crypto One. They just don't know how to get into it. And, even if they have the money, they just don't even know what to do. And so it's kind of a handheld process to really get you in and trading and holding some coin and watching those gains go up. And so the price of this is $5,500 US. I'm not exactly sure that is in British pounds, but I know it's cheaper. And so this price point was originally $3,500. We pre-launched it. The pre-launch went well. The results and testimonies have been insane. And so we moved to $5,500. The price point has always been $10,500 since the very beginning, with a 70% slash when I launched it at like the Platinum event in January. This last month and this month, it's going to be $5,500. At the end of this month, it is going up. Okay, so we're in April. May 1st, this will be $10,500. You could have saved $2,000 by doing it before. You might be new. I'm sorry. But if you were in before, you could have saved that money. So now is the time to save $5,000 if you want to do this. I mean, it's a whole Bitcoin saving that you're going to be able to have to trade with. And just so you guys know, this thing is going to be going at $20,000-$25,000. And I know it might sound crazy, but when you start to break up it over a monthly subscription, I'm just taking it all up front because I don't want to do subscriptions. You start to factor in the amount of time that I'm spending with 52 hours of market reviews, with the questions that are coming in 24/7, which, man, my students are taking advantage of that. And so, it's 24/7 personal consulting. This is what this is. And so, I've made a lot of money in this space, and I've been able to do it on the bull run and the bear run. My confidence level is really there. And you need that to be there when someone's trading that kind of money and we're doing what we're doing. So I've never been more confident in what I've been doing in my entire life. And the results are showing. And so, if you look at any kind of high-ticket education from any people out there, Tony Robbins, they charge crazy amounts just to sit at an event for one day. I don't believe in that. I'm not going to be doing $100,000 for a seat for, a 12-hour deal, whatever it is. But, this to me is a 12-month deal, a whole year of being able to work directly with me. I mean, you're not going to be able to learn everything in a day, 1 hour phone call, and this is a lot. For you to really understand the crypto markets the way I do, it's going to take this type of relationship between coach and student, teacher and student, to really be able to get it all out. For me to, be able to watch these reviews from week to week and see how things unfold and see how I said one thing one week and how it came to fruition the next week. And I really do a lot of tidbits in there. I mean, just education I feel like you guys should know. I'm dropping in there. So, again, back to Corey, I give the ability to ask any personal questions that you want. If you're in a coin that I haven't talked about, we can talk about it. And I'll give you my analysis on it. If you're about to panic sell, call me. I'll probably talk you out of it. If you're not about to sell and you're up a lot of money, I'll probably tell you to sell and realize the gain. So it's great for you to be able to kind of take some of the emotions out, to be able to have someone there giving you their opinion on what they would do with their money. And when they've had this success that they've had with those kind of gains. And so last part of this thing is the ICO. It's called initial coin offering. And, with this, you're able to buy a coin before it goes on the exchange. By doing that, you're buying it pre-sale. ICO, which is way cheaper than it's going to be traded on when it gets on the exchange. And so I'm 4 for 4 on ICOs. The last one that I did that went through the full process was Electronium, which is actually out of the UK. I bought $4,000 worth it at a penny. It was the end of the ICO. I think it even started at a half a penny, or it started cheaper than that. But anyways, I sold it for 10 cents on Cryptopia. That was another reason why I had Cryptopia, because Electronium was going to be launched there versus the other exchanges. So, I did really well, and I did 10x on that one, as well as some other coins, Token Pay, on that coin. And so, but I got another one. I got this one that's really solid. First one backed by a real asset. It really is going to be the future for the unbanked people of the world, and still in those ICO stages. And so I'm not allowed to talk about this through the Crypto One Alert because it is considered a security, and we're not allowed to do that only through what's that thing called that they just started? I'm the worst consultant ever. I can't think of the thing that does the equity trades. But anyways, we're not allowed to do securities under is it TradeView? InvestView is the company. I can't think of that. Roddy's going to have to help you guys on that one. But anyways, the ICOs I can only do through Crypto Coach, and they're big gains right there. So this is just a bio of me if you want to take a picture of it. Again, some of my stories so you have it. Leveraging the 10 grand into several millions of dollars. Building that big team out there in China, which has now led me to actually to have a hedge fund out of Hong Kong, where I'm in China. Can't really get in the United States and Europe right now. I actually have something on that. But again, I can't do that. So I said because I not only do I trade my own money, but I do manage large funds where people trust me, and I do right by everybody as always. And then I've got this 20,000 people taking these trades that are just really having great results. I see stuff on France all the time. The French market is really taking advantage of Crypto One. They freaking love me out there, and I cannot wait to get back out there. Either Samba has built an amazing organization. They got a venue in June that holds 6,000 people that I'll be speaking at on June 23rd. So really excited to get out there. Last time it was like 2,500 people, and this time I'll be speaking in front of like 6,000. So that's the most. Well, that's about the same as I had at this Hong Kong event for my last company, but it's going to be a lot of people. And it's great to have that exposure. I'm excited about it. And I have recently set up a hedge fund out of the Cayman Islands, which will be a lot more licensed and registered than the one out of Hong Kong. And so I'll actually be able to take investors' money as well as everywhere in the world. So still waiting anything signed on that, but fees have been paid and those different kind of things like that. So getting close to that, and so hopefully that could be something maybe added on to Kavera still, if I can talk them into that, or it could be something that is done on an off basis, which also have the blessing from Kavera on that as well before moving forward with that. So if you're interested in Crypto Coach, get back with the person who brought you on this call. There is a referral on the $5,500. It's $1,000. When it goes to $10,500, it's going to be about $1,500 or $2,000. I haven't really figured out. It's always going to be in that 18-20% range. Again, the company didn't really want to mix the volume with this whole kind of thing. It was way easier to kind of have this be a side product, if you will. So if you're interested in this, I take Bitcoin or USD through PayPal, and you can just get with me. You can go through the company's back office. I'd rather you do it through me. It's easier for me to keep up with the payments and stuff like that and onboarding process, as well as I actually can kind of do a little bit more with people who come through me than through Kavera's back office because of the compliance stuff. So if you go through me, you're making the deal with me. If something happens to Kavera in 12 months, you still have this program going on. So just kind of want to give you insight. Again, that's all open with Kavera. Everyone knows it's all good and dandy. So again, go through Kavera or go through me, and then I'll just get the referral to whoever brought you. So for the referral, if somebody wants to do this, let's do a three-way chat so I can really know who is the one responsible for that referral. Get them some more money to trade with. Everyone's happy growing this program, this student base, and really looking at change a lot of lives with this. So I've never been more confident in the market as well, where it's going. The bull run has started. We're going to see Bitcoin go up to $20,000. Is it going to go to 25, 30, 40 and make a new all-time high? Who knows, really, right? It could go to 20,000, come back down, and go up a little bit higher than before. It might make a higher low around 8,000, 9,000 instead of coming back down to 3,500, right? So we're going to see volatility. I think it's important to play the moves for what it is. A lot of us got in around 3,500 Bitcoin, 5,000 Bitcoin. It would be foolish not to take a cash position and sell in the British pound or the dollar when Bitcoin's up at 20K, when we've made a lot of Bitcoin as well, right? And so just know that there will be maybe a shift in trading for Crypto One from Bitcoin to altcoin pairs to Bitcoin to USD, right? Maybe be playing in and out of the US dollar, British pound kind of deal to really keep our fiat value and grow our coin. And so that's something that I learned on the bear run. And so, again, it's not only the trades and stuff like that. With Crypto Coach, you're also getting, the experience and my mindset, thought process all the time, and there's a lot of value there. So I'm going to sign off, guys. I know this was a little bit longer, but I really want to dive into everything this time. Sometimes I'm being rushed. I got, translation stuff going on, and I got to really keep it under an hour. I'm doing like 30 minutes of actual talking. And so I really like to take advantage with the UK groups because y'all speak English and because what I know can be done with this, especially, me coming out there at the end of the month and the events and just really growing both the Crypto One and Crypto Coach Pro. I have a lot of people like crypto. So if y'all got time, I'm open to answer some questions. If y'all want to go ahead and call it, Roger, you let me know on that front.
Okay, well, let me just go full screen for a second just so I can see. If anybody's got any questions, give me a wave. And nobody's waving. Everybody knows everything, Corey. So that's cool. We don't need you anymore. Thanks for that.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, I hope y'all have a great
Corey, we're all looking forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks' time. We're going to have a great night on the Saturday night, and we're looking forward to everything you've got to tell us on the Sundays. But before that, I think we're going to see you one more time in a couple of weeks' time.
Okay. Sounds good, guys. You all have a great night. I'll talk to y'all soon.
All right. Thanks, Corey. Bye, everybody.